shadow.
It's your boy Numinous Mate. Welcome back to my channel, Hybrid Insights from Unique Elevations. Hope you all are blessed, hope you all are staying positive, and hope you all are vibrating high, not low. Welcome back. If you feel this message resonates, please hit the like, share, subscribe button. And if you feel inclined to tap in to this here, what I like to call my tribe crib, aka Trib, ignore that, but hit that bell notification as well. So let's get it. Today I'll be speaking about shadow work, and again this will be part one. I'm still not sure when I'll roll out the second part series for each thing that I talk about, but I'll try to do a part one for everything major that I feel like needs to be talked about in a part series. And then I guess in the future I'll create a playlist and all that where you can just find everything in one playlist. But bear with me, I'm still learning this shit. So what's shadow work? So people have different definitions of shadow work. According to me, I feel like shadow work is internal work, basically. Long and short is basically internal work. So it's you reevaluating your life based off the darkness in your soul. And it's looking into that darkness and seeing what you can do differently. Now, there is a step-by-step process through which you accomplish this shadow work. It doesn't have to follow the steps that I talk about, but I'm personally talking about the way I went through my shadow work. So firstly, it started by looking inwards, right? So, and by looking inwards, it's more of thoughts, right? So I realized that I was thinking the same, although I was trying to remain optimistic, I was still thinking the same negative thoughts every day. And I came to realize that despite me telling myself that I'm being negative, in my conscious mind I was optimistic, but in my subconscious mind is where those negative thoughts lie. And they were just recurring every day on a repetitive basis to where I wouldn't even know, but I would be on a low vibration without even knowing it. So the first thing that I did was I had to admit to myself that yeah, there was something wrong with my subconscious and not my conscious, right? Because conscious is basically what we constantly try to keep ourselves busy with, and whatever task you'll be doing, you'll be focused on that because that's what you're doing consciously. Subconscious is just what's in the back of your head, what's always there, but you're not really thinking about it. But when you go to bed, like literally that's all you think about in your dream state. And so first I had to decipher the fact that I still had negative thoughts. So I started meditating, and by meditating I started using positive affirmations. I now started telling myself positive things. I meditated before sleeping, and the positive affirmations would play in the background. So essentially by the time I woke up in the morning, I would be thinking those thoughts. And slowly but surely over time, it became a repetitive process to where I don't want to use programmed, but I restructured my subconscious to have positive thoughts. So once I did that, I noticed that every time I woke up, I had a lot of energy. Because in this dream state, what I do or still do to this day is I picture myself accomplishing the goals that I personally have in my life, and I try to seek inner peace while accepting the power that I have within myself. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be easy. You're gonna have days where you just want to go to bed and you just want to sleep, but you have to put in a conscious effort towards your subconscious. That's the only way you can do step one. So step two is essentially the fact that I now had to understand that okay, so we all have dark parts in ourselves, right? So I had to pick out the things that I knew that were not serving me for my highest good or for the highest good of others, and I knew that I had to change. Now, in the first step is you identifying those things. Second step is you restructuring your subconscious. Third is just you putting in that work. Now, you all know you gotta crawl before you can walk, right? So with that being said, every day was a struggle, but I would try to be a better version of myself than I was before. But at the same time, I was evaluating the world in general and just seeing the things that were going on in the world that would typically classify as dark, and then I would compare that to my darkness, and I would find some sort of solace in the fact that I wasn't really as dark as the world currently is. So that gave me the motivation on the days that I didn't have the motivation to put in that work. And it also gave me motivation to realize that yes, everyone is not perfect. We all have our faults. We'll all have our highs and lows. But at the end of the day, deep down, I know that I'm a good person. So the moment you want to realize that your shadow work is actually working is before you, somewhere deep down, you always thought that you were not a good person. But the moment now you start believing that you're a good person and that you actually look back and see where you came from, you're like, wow, I've actually put in the work. I'm a better version of myself today than I was yesterday, so I'm gonna continue striving. That's a whole process. And shadow work, to me, some people say you could end up finishing your shadow work, but for me it's an ongoing process. Like, you should always be working on your shadow self all the time, because at the same time, for light to be there has to be darkness. And like I said in my first video, there has to be a balance. So you need to balance between light and dark. And once you do that, you realize, I have some dogs here, you realize that you're becoming a better person, and you're way better off where you are today than you were yesterday. So simply put, that's part one of shadow work. Ain't nothing complicated. I want to say that anyone can do it with anything in life. If you want it, you gotta work for it. So I ain't gonna say it's gonna be easy, but you'll be proud of yourself. Stay safe, stay blessed. La Positiva. I'm out.